Welcome back. Here in St. Ansgar, we are starting a new semester this week. So it's a great time to continue talking about the things we were discussing last week in terms of our goals or resolutions or however you want to think about it. And first of all, I realized this is the same t-shirt I had on in the last video. And these sorts of things are things that students notice. It's sort of like walking into the classroom with a new haircut. The teachers know what I'm talking about. But full disclosure, I'm filming this video right after I filmed the last one, so I didn't change shirts. Also, I do like this shirt. Shout out to my mom. She kind of killed it for Christmas this year. This is a shirt from a company called Two Blind Brothers, who create t-shirts and things like that to raise funds for blindness and the visually impaired. And as you can see, it's hard to do it, I'm looking at myself in the camera. You can see the Braille eye, and the perspective is written upside down, and I've got another one that's the Braille alphabet. And it's pretty cool. My mom got me some great presents this year that go to donate to charitable organizations, which I like because I'm not big on getting a bunch of gifts and things like that. So that was pretty cool. So I do like this shirt. So it's going to wind up in 2 videos in a row. But this week, going off of last week we were coming up with a list of guiding principles of things that we care about or just concepts or ideas that we can look at constantly. And if I didn't really mention in the last video, once you've got that list, you're going to send a list to me, but write it down. And I think it's good to handwrite it out too with pen and paper. I am all about the yellow legal pads and my G2 Pilot pens. My students know my pens are scattered all about the classroom. But it's good to have that written down and put it somewhere where you can actually look at it. It's just a little reminder to yourself that, like, oh yeah, these are the things that I do care about. These are the things that I want to be doing. This is the way that I want to be living. And just let that soak in all the time. Let that constantly be in your head. And with that, we're going to start to break it down a little bit. We're still not necessarily writing specific goals. But what I like to do, and there's a lot of different ways that you can approach this, what I like to do is, now that I've got my overall concepts that I want to think about, I can break down a smaller chunk of time and go, okay, well, what are the things I really want to be focusing on? And say for this month, I usually do like 30 days or a month at a time. I wrote down my current one on January 3rd, we were talking about, because I was traveling on the 1st. So on January 3rd, I sat and wrote down, I kind of said, okay, for the next 28 days. Gives me 4 weeks, that's to the end of the month. So the next 28 days, here are the more specific things that I want to focus on. And I'm just going to kind of track what I'm doing to reach those areas, to address those areas. And that's what we're going to do this week, is I want you to just track a week. Basically, you'll track Monday through Thursday. And then on Friday, submit to me what you've tracked for the week. And what I mean by that, here's how I do it, again on my legal pad, is I write down some of the specific things I want to be doing and just have it sort of the forefront of my focus. So some of them I maybe will write down a concept that I had on my list for the year. So I have like read, write, think on here because I always want to be doing that. But I also have more specific things that I don't have written out as a goal necessarily with a specific time frame. Sometimes I will do that. I'll say I want to do this many days out of the week or things like that. But I found sometimes if I do that and I don't hit that mark, then it becomes discouraging. And that's a reason a lot of people don't reach their New Year's resolutions, is because they set up this real specific goal, which is good. It's good to be specific about our goals. But then if they don't hit the mark, maybe they set the bar a little high and they don't hit the mark, and then it becomes discouraging. And then we sort of get in this self-sabotaging mindset of, well, I missed one workout, or I missed one time I was going to do this, but now it doesn't matter. The streak's ruined, and we kind of abandon it. Well, sometimes I like being that specific and sort of setting a time frame for myself, and I'll do that. I'll break this down even farther to here's what I'm going to work on today, here's what I'm going to work on for this amount of time that I have today. But right now we're not to that stage yet. We're kind of in the second stage of we've got our broad guiding principles. Now I'll write some things down like audiobook I have on here. And that's a reminder to myself for my book that I'm going to have coming out. I want to record audio for it because I've put together a curriculum guide. We're going to market it to schools, but I would like to have an audio version of it as well. That is just a nice add-on that we can offer to schools, and especially for students who maybe struggle with reading. That's a nice option to have, is that audio. I would like to record the audio, so I have that I'm going to set aside some time in the next 28 days to really start hammering on that. I didn't give myself, at this point, a specific, I'm going to record for an hour a day, because I have some days that are more scheduled, more packed than other days, so I don't want to give myself that, where then I'll feel disappointed and upset when I don't work on that. But I do have that on there, that I want to work on this audiobook project. I also have something like just create. I want to spend a little bit more time creating some of my own stuff, which I do a lot of, writing and videos and things like that, but even some of my own artwork. I spend most of my day in school helping students with their artwork, and I'd like to find some time outside of school just to work on some of my own artwork here and there. So I have those things on here, and then I'm just tracking it. So today is January 4th, so I just kind of make a note over here, and it doesn't matter if you can't really see what I've got on there, because I'm not writing in sentence form, I'm just marking a couple of things that I did throughout the day to address some of these things. So I always have like health written on here, something for each week, and talking about my physical and mental health. So I have some notes of what I did today to do that. I went to martial arts class today. I did my breathing and my meditation. I did some yoga today. I'll probably do some more yoga before I go to bed tonight. So those are all things. Those are all things that, yeah, hey, I did those things to address my health things. That's good. For as far as my read, write, think, and create, I worked on a couple different blog posts today. That's something that I want to really be focusing on this month and really throughout the year, because I do a lot of different projects, and some of my short essay form blog posts I haven't been posting real frequently because I've been working on other things, and I went through the other day and sort of organized. I'll always be taking notes and sort of dictating different ideas and concepts and writing out part of it, and I went through and organized, hey, what do I have for pieces of blog posts that I need to finish and kind of clean up, and I had over 70 of them. So even if I did a new blog post a week, I would have more than this entire year. So I want to start putting some of those out. So I felt good about that today. I worked on a couple blog posts. I have 2 that I have finished written that I can put out in the next week or 2. and then I've got another one that I'm formalizing and cleaning up, and I've got a list put together of here's kind of the order that I want to work on them, and I can deviate from that order. But I was glad that I did that today, so I put that down. Hey, that's actually meeting some of my goals and addressing some of those prevailing thoughts. As far as my read, write, think, I spent some time reading from Marcus Aurelius' Meditations and from E.G. Yoshikawa's Musashi, 2 books that I'm actually rereading parts of right now. I enjoyed those books, so I spent some time doing that as well today too, so that's great. So I write those things down, and just real little, one word. Yep, I did this, I did this, I did this, but I have that marked down for today so that I can look back on that and be like, okay, yeah, these are the things that I did well, and on the other side of that, I can look at, oh, here's maybe the things I didn't address today. For instance, I didn't do any recording for the audiobook stuff today because I wanted to get these videos ready and I wanted to work on some other things. So I didn't do that. But because I didn't have I have to record every day type of thing, I'm not beating myself up because I didn't get to that. I'm just noting that, oh, I didn't do that today, so what I want is I don't want a bunch of days in a row where I haven't done anything with that project, because then it falls to the wayside. So it's still on my list as a reminder to look at every day, as a more specific thing I am working on. But then I'm just sort of tracking, what did I do today? And that's a nice way to just reflect. That's part of my wanting to think every day too, is at the end of the day, I can jot down some of these things, and then I can say, I'm happy that I did these things. This was productive. This worked toward my goal. Here's some things that I need to get to tomorrow or over the next couple of days, because I don't want to lose track of those projects or those goals. And I can be grateful for the things that I was able to do and the experiences that I had today. And it's a good thing to celebrate a little bit some of the stuff. I even wrote down today that I did a bunch of laundry today. It was one of those days where I even take all the sheets off the beds and those things and get those washed. And that may not seem like anything real exciting, but that really does help my other goals when my house is in order and I don't have to worry about those things as I'm working on the projects. Today I had the time to do it, so that worked out pretty good. So again, we can keep getting more specific with some of this, and we will. But for this week, all I want you to do is you have your core concepts, your guiding principles. Now just track a week. Mark down each day and say, hey, here's the things that I did that are hopefully feeding into your goals. And you can also mark down the things that you did that maybe weren't feeding into your goals so much. I know when I do this, typically when I have the things that weren't feeding my goals so much and I have to mark down, it's because I spent too much time watching something on YouTube or I got distracted doing something. And it's okay. It's not something I have to beat myself up about. But it's important for us to look at those things and say, ooh, okay, I did that today. I spent a little too much time on this, or a little too much time distracted, or whatever it might be. And that's good just to reflect and say, okay, well, now I can adjust tomorrow to stay on this path leading wherever I want to go. So I hope everybody had a good end to first semester for our school. And we're going to jump in and have a great start to second semester. Much love.